I worked part-time at a high-end estate auction house where wealthy collectors regularly spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on rare paintings, antique jewelry, and vintage cars. Most of our clients arrived wearing designer suits, expensive watches, and drove luxury cars that turned heads before they even stepped inside. One Saturday morning, an elderly man walked in wearing faded jeans, old work boots, and a flannel jacket that looked older than I was. He quietly registered for the auction, paid the deposit in cash, and took a seat in the back row. A few regular bidders laughed, assuming he'd wandered into the wrong building. As the auction began, people competed fiercely over expensive artwork and rare collectibles. The old man didn't raise his paddle once. Every time a new item appeared, he simply watched in silence while others spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. A man sitting near me whispered, "He's here for the free coffee." Even some staff members smiled. After nearly 2 hours, the final item was rolled onto the stage, a rare vintage sports car that had belonged to a famous racing driver. It was the star attraction of the entire event, and bidding started at $500,000. Within minutes, the price climbed past $1 million. Wealthy collectors dropped out one by one until only 2 bidders remained. Just when everyone thought the auction was over, the old man slowly raised his paddle for the first time all day. The room fell silent. One bidder increased the price again. Without showing a single emotion, the old man calmly nodded and raised his paddle once more. The bidding continued until it reached $2.4 million. The other bidder finally shook his head and gave up. "Sold!" The entire room turned to look at the old man. The same people who had been laughing at him minutes earlier couldn't believe what had just happened. While the paperwork was being prepared, I quietly asked one of the senior auction managers who he was. He smiled and said, "That's Mr. Harper. 40 years ago, he bought an old scrapyard that everyone said was worthless. Today, it's one of the largest metal recycling companies in the state. He's worth more than most of the people in this room combined." As Mr. Harper signed the paperwork, one of the collectors jokingly asked why he dressed so simply, if he could afford a multi-million-dollar car. He smiled and replied, "Because I wanted to buy the car, not impress the people who couldn't." The room went completely quiet. Driving home that evening, I realized something I'd never thought about before. The people trying hardest to look rich were spending the day proving they had money. The richest man in the room never felt the need to prove anything at all.